On this edition of the Cowboys Report, we will break down what Micah Parsons had to say in his to a certain extent, media rant. What's going on with Sam Williams and some free agency rumors and workouts that have been done by the Cowboys. Let's begin, though, with Micah. He is unhappy with the way, I will call it big media, ESPN, Fox Sports, etc. He's unhappy with the way that they have treated the Dallas Cowboys and the way they've treated his quarterback, Dak Prescott. We were this close to that's my quarterback line from Micah. He thinks there's a double standard for the Cowboys. And Micah had a rather lengthy rant, which in the end, proving his points, only resulted in even more Dallas Cowboys coverage. So there's a lot that Micah had to say. We'll get to all of it here, at least the relevant parts for our discussion today. Here's what Micah said. I just don't condone the bashing of Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys and not having the same energy for the Eagles. We want the same energy for everybody. There's a whole bunch of bashing when it's Dak Prescott, but it's not the same when it's the Eagles. He mentioned the Niners as part of this whole conversation too. So why is it that we are just scrubs and we're nobodies that don't deserve to be on the field and we're all just talk, but there's 100 excuses for these other teams? He mentioned the Niners didn't have McCaffrey and Debo, and the Browns were banged up too, and the Jets didn't have their players. If y'all just going to hate Cowboys Nation, just say y'all hate Cowboys Nation. But don't sit here and throw shade on us. Keep the same energy for everybody. That's all it is. I'm tired of people trashing my quarterback. I'm tired of people trashing my team. And that's why I had nothing to say to the media this week. I'm going to get my thoughts on what Micah had to say. I think there's a lot of truth to it. But I want to hear from you guys first. Do you agree with Micah's overall message that there's too much anti-Cowboys media out there, or at least they talk too much and hold different standards for the Dallas Cowboys? Y for yes, N for no. It's going to be today's pinned comment. So if an ad plays here on YouTube, fine. Take advantage of the ad instead. Go vote and argue politely if you need to. Y for yes, N for no. I think he's right on plenty of this, Mike. I think there's a lot of things he said that were accurate, that were fair, and something I have said or variations of it in the past as well. There's far more negative attention placed on Dak and other players on this team because it's the Cowboys, which has been said before by me. They go, we have the basically like not saying it. The bosses made us talk about the Cowboys. And by the way, the exact talking heads that Mike is calling out are loving this. They are loving the fact that during a Cowboys bye week, when there's nothing to really talk about for the Cowboys, they have an easy excuse to now talk about the Dallas Cowboys and criticize them. Undisputed did 2 straight hours of Cowboys coverage. Seriously? That's ridiculous. That's what we do as a Cowboys-only YouTube channel. I actually feel bad for other fan bases. Man, we have Eagles-Dolphins this week. We have the Lions playing great football. And instead of talking about actual football, actual things that matters, it's, Cowboys. Really? Here's the big core of the issue that big sports media, the giant talking heads have forced themselves into. They became so negative, specifically last year, and the way they've treated various players on this Cowboys, specifically the quarterback, because it's the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, they have been so negative with their outrage bait and trying to go viral and the discourse of who gets the next wild thing to go viral on social media, that they've now backed themselves into a corner. And I've shown this before. He had to be mean to Jalen Hurts because others have been so mean to Prescott because Hurts had a bad game. Instead of being able to say, yeah, you know what, that was a bad football game, it did not go well, he'll probably bounce back, it's okay, still a good player, he sucks now, he's trash, he's garbage, he's ass. It's a downward cycle of suck, because instead of giving actual analysis, and then guys like Dan or Orlovsky will actually give good analysis when they're not playing a character. It's a character that these talking heads are playing, designed to outrage you and Micah and other fan bases to troll. That's all it's become. If you want real change, by the way, to get the national media to stop acting the way they've been, you have to stop watching. That's the only way to make it happen. Don't give them the views. That's why they keep going back to it, because it works. Now, if you want actual good content on the Dallas Cowboys, good news, you've come to the right spot. Hit that sub button. It's youtube.com/@CowboysTV. More free videos right here on the channel. Now, I will say this part. I don't think Mike is actually necessarily right pinpointing the 49ers and the Eagles in particular as why can't you say negative things about them? I think those two teams in particular have probably earned more benefit of the doubt, which is fine to say that. They've advanced further, they've had more success. I get that. But other teams, other players totally get ignored under the guise of LOL Cowboys. And I think that's what maybe the national heads were trying to talk about. You had Kimberly A. Martin on ESPN say, quote, "The star comes with different expectations." Okay? Emmanuel Acho in his clap back at Mike says, "We don't talk about TJ Watt and Myles Garrett and Khalil Mack." And that's actually the point of what Micah was saying. They're saying there's a different standard, and we don't talk about those other players and teams. Why? You should. You absolutely should. Should not be all Cowboys all the time. That's ridiculous. That's not how this should be done. It's not your job as big media. And for the Cowboys, by the way, embrace it. If Mike ain't playing the nobody believes in us, it's us against the world card, I think that's a failure of coaching. Use that to your advantage. Use it. It's okay if you become the bad guys, so to speak. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It is just you against the numbers. You're not battling thousands of other players, the pros, the sharks, etc. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch the winnings roll in. You can combine NFL and college football picks, or just do NFL, just do college football. My picks this week. Give me anytime Tyreek Hill touchdown, so more than 0.5, pretty easy. Less than a Michael Pittman receiving yards, because I don't think the Colts are going to do much on offense. That Browns defense, as Micah said, is legit. And Lamar Jackson more than passing yards. That's just 219.5. I think we'll have some success against the Lions in what should be a fantastic game. Imagine if Talking Heads spent more time on the good games and actual football and not just what Micah said this week. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link will be in the comments and the description of today's show. But again, folks, it's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS. Let's spend some time, again, on actual football stuff. Sam Williams. Something might be up here, folks. Allegedly, now, we'll show you the tweet here in a second. I've seen it on social media. I did not see Williams send it before he deleted it, so I'll use the word allegedly from that perspective. He sent out a tweet, so the screenshot says, saying, "Free me," after the Chargers win. Now, I do know before the Chargers game, he sent out a tweet saying he wasn't going to get to play more, and they weren't going to put Micah at linebacker, blah, blah, blah. Here's what Sam allegedly tweeted out. It was, "Free me," prayer emojis after the Chargers game with the cage dog, right? That he wants to get let loose, which I interpret, I think most people would, is he wants to play more and make more plays. Because Sam Williams, folks, has not been playing that much this year. He began the year at 49% and 40% in the snap counts against the Giants and the Jets. That dipped to 16% against the Cardinals, 29% against the Patriots, 28% against the 49ers, and just 16% against the Chargers. And I would probably be advocating for you got to play Sam more. You got to play Sam more. If he were doing anything this year, I mean, good luck finding a photo of him this season. He's got 4 tackles, a TFL, a sack. His pressure rate, folks, has plummeted. It is down to barely 8% this season. That is not a very good number. That's about half of what some of your other pass rushers are doing this year. And to put it in even more perspective, he was at 13+% last year. You say 5% is not a lot. It is. It is. He is not nearly as good as what he was last year. And I'm not really sure why. Now, he's always had some maturity issues. maybe he's in the doghouse a little bit. So what do you guys think? Does Sam Williams need to play more for this Cowboys defense? A for yes, B for no. Go vote in the comments. I would wonder if Sam is in the doghouse a little bit. He kind of got himself into trouble off field again before the year began. I thought he might kind of find a way to get going from that perspective of, hey, he's going to outplay Dante Fowler, maybe cut into Dorrance Armstrong's snap count. Hasn't happened yet. I think DA's actually been better as a run stopper than he's ever been in his career, which is a great sign. But I don't think he's earned it at this point. Let's talk free agency. Bleacher Report mentioning 3 players the Cowboys should go sign. Should they? Let's look at the options they laid out. Linval Joseph, first up on the list. I don't get it. It was an anti-Mozzie angle, which, you need 3 nose guards on this team? No, you don't. Hankins, I think, has played very well. And Mozzie's stats have not popped off the screen. It's not really what they're asking to do right now. All I know is, outside of the Cardinals game, they've actually stopped the run pretty damn well so far this season. Probably should give some credit to Hankins and Smith from that perspective. They also mentioned Anthony Barr. I think the Cowboys have filled this option with Rashaan Evans, who is on your practice squad. We'll see if he's a go next week or not as the Cowboys battle all of those linebacker injuries. And frankly, I don't know if Barr has anything left in the tank. I thought he had lost a step, if not 2, last year for the Dallas Cowboys, where he just wasn't playing very well. The numbers aren't terrible, but I think you need some coverage and some run thumping at linebacker. It's not really going to do it for me as far as I'm concerned. Casey Hayward, meanwhile, the third option, is the most intriguing to me. Now, he was banged up last year, didn't play as well as he has in the past, but if you want a veteran corner, and I'll kind of call it that Xavier Rhodes mold, I do think Hayward could make a little bit of sense. 61.3%, not great. Only 6 games played. Of the veteran corners, I'm a bit surprised there's been no buzz on him. Might be a sign that the NFL knows something we don't. Certainly would not be the first time. But I wouldn't expect any big more veteran free agents, at least not until after the trade deadline. So would you sign any of those 3 free agents? You can be honest with me. I'm kind of passing on them. Maybe Hayward intrigues me a little bit. S for sign or P for pass. Now, the Cowboys did show interest in these 8 free agents that they worked out on Wednesday. Some names you've never heard of, that's okay. Chris Glasser, E.J. Jenkins, some former Jets practice squad camp guys. Buddy Johnson, the A&M linebacker, 4th-round pick. Adam Pankey's kind of been a journeyman, 9th or 10th offensive lineman. Eric Saubert's actually played games at tight end in the NFL. That's noteworthy. Lachavious Simmons does sound like a Key and Peele East-West Bowl name, but he was drafted by the Chicago Bears. Davion Taylor, the linebacker, was a decently high pick out of Colorado by Philadelphia. Badara Traore, the former LSU offensive lineman. What's the common theme of these 8 guys? Potential practice squad options. There are 2 open spots on the practice squad since the Cowboys did lose one of their backup linemen to the New York Giants because they were so decimated by injuries that they had to go get another offensive lineman. They were making moves. They pulled back Sean Harlow from the Cowboys practice squad.